What is going on? How is everybody doing, guys? Welcome to the latest edition of Tactical Solutions. Basically, this is something that I'm going to do every day after game day, where we're going to go over the tactical approach of our beloved AC Milan in the Serie A game. In this case, is Sampdoria against AC Milan. What's up, Christian? How are you doing? So a lot to talk about and to decipher regarding this game. It's going to be quite interesting. We saw a lot of interesting approaches from Pioli, and I think that overall we can say it was a pretty positive approach. I liked what we saw, and I think that this approach of being a little bit more offensive than what we usually are is actually pretty good. I like it. It is a little. It's less conservative than what we saw in the previous games of the Serie A last season. So overall, I think it went pretty well. All right, let's go over it right now. This is not going to be a long video, guys. My these tactical solution lives that I'm going to do, because I'm thinking, should I do them live or should I do just a video? The thing is that I like to do it live. I like to do it live because I like to interact with our audience. I think we are developing a really nice family here at RossonAri Tv, and I like to talk to my audience. And also, I just would rather do it live than do a video and edit a video and whatnot. So let's get on it. Let's get started and let's see what we saw from yesterday's game. So let's go to the tactical board. Let's do a quick analysis, right? So let's start right away with Pioli and what he has been doing and what he has been saying, and also what he said in his post press conference. I do like what I heard his voice in that press conference. Howdy at 68505 in Malaysia. Nice. Thank you for joining. I don't know. I guess a lot of you maybe do not speak Italian, so you don't really listen to him, or you read the translations, etc. But I was listening to his press conference. One thing I noticed about his post-game press conference was his demeanor, the tone of his voice, and his delivery. Very confident, very secure of himself, very aware of the project. He was saying things like, we're a more prepared team. He was asked the question, is this team stronger than last year, or is this the strongest Milan that you've coached? Someone even maybe asked him or implied, is this the strongest team you've ever coached? And Pioli's answer was, this is the most prepared team I've coached. This is the most prepared Milan I have coached. And I liked his answer. I liked his demeanor. I can tell that he feels very reassured by the preparation that they had this summer. At least that's the vibes that I got from him. Because usually, even when Pioli would win in the past, and I would listen to his post-match interviews, his demeanor was what it is, and it was much more, let's say, humble. Let's put it that way. His approach was definitely much more humble. But this time, in this particular game, for the very first time, his demeanor, again, from the non-Italian speakers, I can tell you, as someone who speaks Italian fluently and heard Pioli, I can tell you that his demeanor is different from the past. His tone of the voice is more manly. His way he responds to the questions much more direct. I think he's very focused. He's very focused, and again, he's very confident in what the work has been so far in this summer, in preparation to a season that is going to be a very difficult season, because I am sure that he is aware of the fact that AC Milan is a team that takes a lot of pride in what they do in Europe. Okay, and he knows, he is very aware that Milan are going to be playing that Champions League, and he's very aware that we're going to most likely be playing against some tough teams. So I think that it is right for him. It is the correct approach to be very self-confident, to be very reassured of the work you've done. And he also said another very interesting thing. Yeah, what's up, Fadli, and what's up, Christopher? How you guys doing? Another thing he said that I thought was very interesting was that there's a lot of inner competition in the team. He was saying that the team, one thing that he has noticed, that there was a lot of inner competition. And that inner competition makes it maybe a little bit more difficult for him to choose which players are going to play on game day. But that is good. We want that inner competition. We want the players to push each other. This season is probably the most important season that Milan has played in a long time. The season is going to be even more important than next season. This is the season of the confirmation. So if there is a time to be confident and to be assured of what the work has been, it is now. It is now. He cannot go into the season with any doubts. He cannot go into the season with any thoughts of hey, maybe this, maybe that. No, he needs to be very sure and confident about everything he does and what he prepared. And also, he did mention. Hey, what's up, my man? Hey, Roy, amazing vids as always. Bilal from Manchester. How you doing, brother? How you doing, Bilal? How's it going? So, as I was saying, it is very important that whatever he did in that training ground in these months, he is confident about. He is aware that at least those are the vibes that he gave us. And then he spoke a little bit about the game. You know, it was a difficult game. Even though we were missing some key players, Milan was still able to bring home the result, which is very important, you know. And he is given responsibility to some youngsters that are literally still the under 21s in their respective national teams. I mean, Calabria just got out of that under 21. He was literally an under 21 a year ago. Diaz is still an under 21. Leao is an under 21. Salamakers is between that under 21 and that national team. Tonali is an under 21 and is jumping from under 21 to the national team. So, guys, AC Milan is playing with a lot of under 21s. I hope you guys understand what that means and the difference between an under 21 and a national team player is like the difference between, you know, a cat and a lion. So the fact that we are winning these games with these under 21s is it's a huge plus. Huge plus. A lot to be positive about. I like the idea of the 3-5-2. He did mention something about 3-5-2, and we actually saw the 3-5-2 towards the end of that game. No competition from Samuel Florenzi, with no preseason picked over him in this match. Someone knows. Well, hold on, Yanko. We got to think this today. Hold on, hold the phone, guys. Remember, today's video is called Tactical Solutions. The reason why he put Florenzi over Samu Castillejo, because at that point in the game, we wanted to defend the lead. We wanted to seal the deal. That is the correct thing to do if you want to seal the deal. He put a more defensive player with defensive duties to stop those attacks. Because at the end of the game, no matter who you are, guys, if you're Sampdoria and you're looking for the result, especially in your home, you're going to try and score a goal. You're going to push. You're going to push. And that is just the natural event of things. While you, as the team in the lead, your natural tendency is to protect that lead and take it home. You know, that final holding your breath for those final minutes. You know, when you're holding your breath underwater and you want to go on 30 more seconds and your body starts to suffer, you're suffering, you're fighting. Basically, it's the same thing in football. So, you know, tactically, it was correct to put Florenzi over over Castillo. If we had to score a goal, if he needed to be more offensive, then I'm pretty sure we would have seen Castillo. So, you know, let's wait. I don't think in this case what this Florenzi Castillo thing applies. It was the right decision, which is something that we're going to look at in a second. Okay, so yes, the 3-5-2 is something that we can definitely do. We can definitely do. And we're going to flirt with that in a second. All right, guys, let's get into this video and let's look at, let's go player by player and see what their tactical purpose was. We saw the game yesterday. We saw the game, at least I was able to commentate the game, so I was able to follow every single play, so I can confidently say and have a good reading of what the tactical solutions were. What's up, Kengu? How many of your U20s are in the Golden Boy Award? I honestly have no idea. I do not know. Okay, so let's get into the tactical solutions aspect of this video. We'll start first with Pioli's decision to play a 4-2-3-1. Yesterday was a pure 4-2-3-1. It wasn't a 4-4-2. It wasn't a 4-4-1-1. It was a pure 4-2-3-1. The team operated in that frame. Every player operated in the frame of a 4-2-3-1. So there were absolutely no doubts about that. Absolutely no doubts about that. So one of the things that, you know, I was very curious to see, which didn't happen, actually it did happen at a certain point, but didn't happen overall, was what, you know, Pioli towards the end of last season, trying to cover some spaces, trying to fix some of the issues he was having last season, kind of manufactured a formation that on the field started off as a 4-2-3-1, but in possession transmutated in this 3-1-5-1 kind of solution. All right, so let's remember, because we need to use these points of references, and we need to understand. The reason why we make these videos is to understand how our Milan works. You want to know how Milan works. You want to know the tactical function of AC Milan. So let's go. Let's turn the time back a few months ago towards that very successful end of the season. What's up, Felix? How you doing, my friend? Ricardo, what's up? Milan have agreed personal terms with Manchester City winger Silva as the club try and work out the financials. I did read that. Let's see if that happens. I guess that could be this foreign player that Pellegatti was saying. Pellegatti a few days ago was saying that Milan had almost found finished this deal with a winger, winger slash attacking midfielder that came from abroad. Maybe this was the player he was talking about. But Felix does not believe that. Don't give me hope. Well, listen, I will see. But we do have Pellegrini. Pellegrini is official. Florenzi is official. Bakayoko should be official any day soon. And this attacking midfielder slash number 7 also should be official anytime soon. All right, let's get back to the tactical solutions. Okay, so guys, let's just remember what Milan looked like a few months ago in possession those last 5 games. So what did it do? When the goalkeeper had the ball, right, in a goal kick situation, we would start from the back and play all the way to the front. We would use the time and the space of the goalkeeper for a few things to happen. Guys, I want you to pay very close attention to this. What would happen, okay? Our left fullback would start to move up in this area. Our box-to-box midfielder would move up in this area right here. In that case, in that particular case, it was Çalhanoğlu. He would basically, these two players would swap positions. Diaz would come in this area of the field or that area, depending where, but Çalhanoğlu would go in the middle. Salamakers would stay over here. Then our deep line playmakers would become a central deep line midfielder. Tomori would move to the right, Chiara in the middle, and then Calabria. The sacrifice was Calabria. Calabria would move into middle, and basically what our team looked like was a makeshift 3 in the back, 1 the deep line play midfielder, a line of 5, a very dynamic line of 5. The dynamism was in particularly these 4 players. In this case, for the names that we have here, Diaz, Krunic, Leao, and Salamakers. These 4 players, including the striker, would change positions and would interchange positions a lot. But Theo Hernandez would pretty much commit to this wing. Okay, so basically the only set player that had a very specific role in an offensive play was Theo Hernandez, who was literally committed to the wing. Rather, instead here you had Salamakers that came centrally a lot. You had Diaz that was doing some overlaps with Salamakers. You had Çalhanoğlu that was doing overlaps with whomever. You had what's his name, Kessie, who was doing overlaps with whomever, and then you had the center forward who was pretty much playing as the target man. When Ibrahimovic was playing as the target man, he would come pretty deep, and then the ball would go through him, and then he would pretty much organize the offensive plays. And then you would have basically this quartet here in the back, this diamond in the back, which would be your reset point, right? You would use these players plus the goalkeeper in case we needed to reset. But one of the reasons we saw why Pioli did this last season was also because we were getting caught in counterattacks. We were leaving a lot of space in our own area. So he decided to have 3 players in the back. Okay, so this was last season, and actually we did see this formation or this tactical solution around the 78th to the 85th, 86th minute. Basically, we saw this solution for about 10 minutes against Sampdoria yesterday, just before Romagnoli came in and Florenzi came in. We did see Pioli revert back to this solution. But prior to that, Milan played a very different kind of game, which we'll get to right now, which is very interesting because I think I don't know, we will have to see whether or not his new solutions are going to work in the Champions League, or they're going to work against bigger teams. But we will definitely see whether or not that it is going to work. Okay, Pellegrini is like a complete waste of money. I do not agree. I just prefer not to have expectations, as if we don't get a cam, I wouldn't be disappointed. We won't get Bernardo Silva, period. All right, damn, you guys are quite negative. All right, okay, so let's talk about what Pioli's tactical solutions were against Sampdoria. And literally, they were exactly what we saw in preseason. And what we saw in preseason was exactly what he practiced in order to then start the season. And I was asking myself, like, this is a new system, it's a new tactical approach, and he deployed it against Sampdoria, and it worked pretty nicely. So let's put all the players back in their formation, and now let's talk about the Sampdoria game. Okay, and then we'll go. We'll kind of do a player-by-player kind of rating / tactical function. Okay, so let's start away with Magnin and the difference that Magnin brings to this team in comparison to what you call to Donnarumma. Mustafa, what's up, my friend? I noticed that Pioli seems very confident and calm. He knows we are stronger mentally and tactically. I think Pioli is also going to. Yes, and that's what I was saying in the beginning of the video, that Pioli in the post-conference was very, very confident. He sounded very confident. His demeanor, the tone of his voice was lower, like, I'm a man, I got big balls, and they're all the way down my knees. So he had that kind of a demeanor. But anyway, let's look at the let's analyze yesterday's game and the new tactical solutions that are being approached. You need to do a podcast with Stevie from Milan Weekly Podcast. He's ripping into the team and especially Tonali. Listen, I do not understand the negativity. Like, he's ripping into the team. Like, honestly, and this is why you guys are not going to see me in the post game matches that we do here on RossonAri TV. I am not okay, guys. I want to give you a little bit background on myself. I have been coaching football for more than 10 years now, and I've coached for very important clubs. I've coached for quite high level clubs, not first division professional, that level, but I've coached in lower divisions, but still at a very high level. I coached college. I've coached Academy, PSG, Espanyol, Golden State. I have a lot of experience coaching. And this ultra negative approach on players is just not the reality. It's just not the way I was trained to look at players. It's not the experience that I had with players. So I don't even want to participate in like the post-game things. I do not want to participate with other people just ripping into players. I don't see football that way. It's not like that. Players are human beings, and they have good games. They have bad games. Players learn. Players get better. And then also you have to look at your opponent. It is not such an apocalyptic way of seeing things. I can't do it. I literally cannot do it. I just cannot do it. To me, this ultra negative approach on looking at players and then judging them based on one performance or judging them based on one instance. Sometimes people rip on players just because of one instance. I cannot do it, guys. I cannot do it. So if you want to hear me rip on players, it's going to be very rare. It's going to be very rare for me to rip on players. Like, for example, last year I ripped a lot on Leao, but I also made it clear that the reason why Leao was performing so poorly was because he was kind of being forced into a position that he just didn't know how to play. But that's it, like, you're never gonna hear me rip on. That's why I don't hate any other teams. You'll never hear me talk shit about Juve, Inter, Atalanta. The only team I talk crap about is Roma because the defeats that they concede in Europe are just embarrassing. But that's it. I want Roma to do well. So my demeanor is not that. I am not into ripping into teams. It's not my experience as a coach. I have coached players that were technically very underwhelming, but in time I was able to turn them into players that functioned for the team and got the job done. So I understand what it's like to, let's say, in quotation, have a croonage in your team. And I understand what the coach goes through when you have, in quotations, a croonage or a Samu Castillejo in your team, etc., etc. And this thing that they're useless players, that they need to get the hell out, and it's like, it's not me, okay? It's not me. That's why if I cannot participate in the post-match games, because I'd just be fighting with everybody. It just become a screaming competition with everybody. So I'm just going to do, from now on, the post-match games are going to be, Laret is going to take care of the post-match games. I'm just going to do my tactical solution videos the day after, and I just go over the tactical things that we're going to see, that we had seen, and then maybe talk a little bit about the players. But you're not going to be here, even if we lose. It is very rare that you're going to hear me rip into players. Like even where Romagnoli, remember when Romagnoli had that terrible moment of form? I didn't rip on him. I understood what he was going through, and I understood it was just a phase. Anyway, let's move on. Conti, Samu Kunichkasi all need to be sold. Fair enough. Really hope Leon Tonali shine this season. I hear you. Leao has to be starting left wing for the rest of the season period. Roy, would you consider yourself more a Calcio fan than a Milan fan? No, I am a Milan fan. My blood is red and black, but Milan is but Serie A is let's say my tribe. My tribe is Serie A. All right, that is my tribe. Why? Because I want to. Nathan, sorry, I'm not going. This is going to be a short. Hey, what's up, Nathan? This is going to be a short live. I just want to go through my tactical solution stuff, and I'm going to close. I'm not going to do a heavy debate on the game. We are going to do a live together and have everybody give their opinions on Friday. We're going to do Milan Forum. But today, tactical solutions is just going to be me, guys. It's going to be nobody else. It's just going to be me, and I'm going to be talking about the tactical solutions of the game. We're already 26 minutes in, so I'm going to start at the half-hour mark. I'm going to start going deep into the tactical solutions. But I'm not here to start any back and forths between anybody regarding the players. Leao has to be our starting. Okay, I read that. So yeah, as I was saying, Serie A is, let's say, my tribe, but Milan is my family. Okay, let's put it that way. Milan is the family, Serie A is the tribe. So, and also I'm a huge supporter of the national team. I love the national team to death. The same way I love Milan is the same way I love the national team. So that's why I'm always very attentive to the Italian players wherever they play. But stop asking me these questions. Say, if you keep on asking me questions, I'm a Milan fan. Stop trying to test me. All right, Roy. There's always too much negativity with Salamanca's disregarding how he can shut down Damsgaard and Aguero. It's enough with right wing now. People don't understand the concept of balance. Yes, very true. I responded, Rebic and Theo on the left wing were amazing last season. I would rotate Rebic and Leao on left. That is true. They actually did play really well, Rebic and Theo. I think Rebic right now is not in a great, is not going through a great moment of form, and Leao is. So I think that's why Pioli is choosing them. If you visit them, would you? Of course I would, bro. Of course I would. Why wouldn't I? If Juve is in the Champions League, in the Champions League final, of course I would support them. I mean, because if Juve wins that final, Saif, it's a good look for the Serie A. I don't want to be called the Farmers League. All right? Of course I would support Juve. Of course I supported Inter when they played against Bayern. Even though that Inter had no Italians, so I was kind of like meh about it because it didn't really help the national team. But I supported Inter because it made the Serie A look good. But of course, if Milan and Juve is playing, of course I'll support Milan. If Milan, anybody Milan plays against, I'll always support Milan. Rebic will shine only after January. Rebic does seem to take his time before he gets into form. Guys, 2 more minutes, and then one more minute, then I'm going to get into yesterday's game. Saif Najar, till when is Kessie expected to be out? About a month, so we can expect him to be back after the Nationals, so basically mid-September. He should be back mid-September. I would support any Serie A club in CL. Yeah, I usually support any Serie A club. Apparently, Maldini gave Kessie 7 days to accept the offer or be sold. I think this is the right thing to do, because we could either monetize on him right now and at least get something, even though because it is the last year of his contract, he's going to cost less, which kind of sucks because we literally could have got him double for him. But I wouldn't do this whole thing. Like with Romagnoli, I would actually go till the end of his contract because it is a player that even if we monetize on, I don't think it's going to be that much, you know. Like even it's not a huge loss. Romagnoli is not a huge loss as far as monetization, but Kessie is 50 million, 60, 50, 70 million, 65 million. If he doesn't want to accept the contract, sell him right now. The same thing we should have done with Donnarumma. But again, Romagnoli, no, I don't think about that about Romagnoli. But Kessie, yes, because Kessie is some serious dough. And if we lose him next year for nothing, it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. So if this is true, what Mustafa is saying, I definitely agree with the approach. You think breaking Team Pelé would be easy or hard next weekend? I don't want to repeat of last season. I think it'll be easier than last season, but I don't think it will be easy. I think Milan right now, and right now, guys, I'm about to start my tactical solution things. Right now, Milan is still in process of getting its match fitness, etc. So the game will be difficult, but I think it'll be easier than last season. What's up, RossonAri? Okay, I'll just answer right now. The reason why is because last season the pressure was much higher. The stakes were much higher. At that point, Cagliari had no pressure. Cagliari wasn't fighting for anything. They actually already celebrated 2 hours before the game when I can't remember who, their result meant that they would have stayed in the Serie A. So Cagliari played that game with absolutely no pressure. They had no result. Any result wouldn't have mattered for them. While we had this pressure build up. It was it could have been the most decisive game of the season. So the psychological aspect made it more difficult for us. I think this time it's going to be neutral. Both of us are playing for points. Both of us are starting from more or less the same grid. So, who is going to be the best technical team of the day is going to win. What's up, RossonAri? What do you think about Pellegrini? I'm very excited about Pellegrini. I am hoping that his injuries will not keep on going. I hope that I want to be positive about it. If he can stay healthy, then, like, for example, yesterday he would have played because Giroud should have been substituted after that 70th minute mark, more or less, because it was obvious that Giroud had no gas left. I'm happy that we didn't put anybody else in that striker position, though. So a Pellegrini yesterday would have been quite useful. So I'm pretty happy about Pellegrini. I think he's perfect to come in, to play 20 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and just make his time that way and build himself up. He is a youngster. He is a youngster, guys. So we're not expecting in Maradona. We're not expecting Shevchenko. We're just expecting a player. We're just expecting a player to be useful when time is needed. If we still can see, we should sign Di Maria. Yeah, I think Di Maria would be a really good signing. Pellegrini, I think the management know better than us and their jobs on the line, so they're not stupid to get Pellegrini. If he's going to be injured the whole time, other than that, he's supposed to be a very talented striker. Yeah, the only thing about Pellegrini is the injury problem. We'll see if it persists or not. We'll see. This is just time will tell. We couldn't have asked for better than Ibra, Giroud, Pellegrini. I think that is safe to say. I think that is pretty safe to say. Now, Giroud, for example, is a player that throughout his career is not known to have many injuries. Ibra right now is in a part of his career where it's difficult to think that he's not going to have any injuries. And Pellegrini does have a history now, quite an extensive history of injuries, but we will see. This is a bet that they're doing. It's a bet. We'll see if it pays off. The last bet they did with Mandzukic didn't pay off. So we'll see if this one pays off. All we need Pellegrini to do is be healthy. That's it. But by the way, Caio Jorge injured, a month out. So imagine that. When will he be ready to play? I think he is ready to play. I think. Do not quote me on that. I can believe we can go into the season with Salamakers as our starting right wing. Well, the Calcio Mercato is not over yet, so I'm pretty sure. I'm 100% sure they're going to get someone. I don't get all the talk about the 4-2 with Ibra and Giroud up front. We're both really slow for that. It could work. It could work. It could work. Giroud, Ibra as a 4-4-2 definitely could work, and maybe we'll analyze that. All right, let's get into what we saw yesterday. So right away, one thing that we noticed about Manin, which is a big difference from, let's say, Donnarumma, is that Manin plays long balls, right, quite often, which I know Nathan doesn't like, actually. but he does play a lot of long balls, and he likes to clear the ball in situations that maybe he's not 100% sure about. Now, this is something that I criticized Donnarumma, was that Donnarumma always insisted to play short, sometimes compromising our defenders, putting our defenders in difficult spots. Donnarumma always never likes to just kick the ball away. He likes to always try to the perfect pass, but that aspect of Donnarumma has cost us points in the past. It has cost us points in the past. So I think one of the reasons why Manin has had so many clear, has had so many scoreless games, clean sheets, is probably because of what we saw yesterday. When in doubt, he clears the ball, and I think that's the right thing to do. It is the smart thing to do. So that's something that gave me a lot of assurance about Manin. But he also does like to take his time on the ball and wait for the team to organize, wait for players to open up. We saw a lot of times, actually, that he likes to find these channels. We saw Diaz, actually, in this area, come down a lot. And we saw a few times where Manin went straight to Diaz, and then Diaz had a lot of space to turn around and create opportunities. So, and another thing that we saw about Manin that was very interesting is that he trusts Calabria quite a lot. He actually has a lot of trust for Calabria, which was quite interesting because he looked for Calabria a lot, quite a lot, which also says or tells me that Calabria is a captain. He deserves a captain. And when there's so much trust for a player, that tells me that Calabria exudes confidence, exudes stability, right? Because if you notice yesterday, again, since I was commentating that game, I was play by play. I saw this solution many times. Calabria to Manin, or Manin to Calabria. We saw it many times. Now, honestly, I'm not a big fan of these passes to the fullbacks, because these passes, long balls to the fullbacks, these are two-touch stops. You need to touch the ball. You need to first stop the ball with your chest, bring it down, control it, then pass it. So it's a two-touch stop. This is what we call it, a two-touch stop. I'm not a big fan of those, because two-touch stops allow your opponents to press on you, and then it can put you in a compromised position. I'm not a big fan of those kind of plays. I would actually rather just have the goalkeeper clear the ball. Now, a one-touch stop is, for example, a short pass to Kjaer, one-touch stop the ball, pass. But once again, a two-touch stop is long ball, chest, ball on the ground, two touches, then third touch, pass. Three touches allows your opponents to get closer to you. So I'm not a big fan of those plays, I'll be honest with you, but that's what Manin opted for many times. And it's fine because they work. Another thing that we noticed about Manin, which is actually very, very interesting, and it is it is a weapon that I think will be used quite often, is that his long ball is very good. He's got a very good long ball. As a matter of fact, we saw in the first moments of the game where Leao made a cutting run here, trying to break that offside line. Manin, a very precise ball to Leao's feet. Leao had that crazy stop. I mean, that's a ball, guys, coming 60 yards in the air, going at incredible speed, and then you just stop it, you kill it. That was a great technical display from Leao. Leao coming forward, and then he had that shot that was actually brilliant saved by Aguero. We got to say, Aguero had a brilliant save. So we had that moment of the game where we saw right away what Manin is capable of doing. And I think this is a weapon that, especially with Ibra on the field, is going to be extremely, extremely important, because Ibra is a master at controlling these balls coming from far. And he's a master at the one-touch layoff, He's a master at being a target man in these kind of situations. So when Ibra is back, I'm expecting that combination, Mani and Ibra, to be a very prominent part of our game, which I know Nathan doesn't like, by the way. And I'm sure Nathan will talk about it pretty soon. So let's keep on going. Now, earlier we spoke about how Pioli deployed his tactical solution, etc., formation, where last season, he sacrificed Calabria, but during this preseason, what we noticed is that he wasn't sacrificing his fullbacks. He wanted basically both his fullbacks to go line to line, which I agree with. And I am aware that at that time, it was a necessary thing to sacrifice Calabria because the team was struggling. The team was struggling to stop the counterattacks and was struggling to close spaces. So basically, what is Pioli doing right now? He still wants to build with three in the back. But the three in the back he's building with is not the fullback. And we saw this yesterday. Most of the times it was Tonali, sometimes it was Krunic, but we would see Tonali come all the way back here when Magnan had the ball and the ball was starting from the goalkeeper. We'd see Tonali literally go behind the line of the defenders. Ter would come up in this area, and Calabria would come up in this area. Then you'd have Krunic, who became the diamond. All right. So this is what we saw. Now the diamond is two midfielders and two central defenders, while before it was two central defenders, the fullback, and a midfielder. And then what else do we notice? What else did we notice? That as the team moves up with the ball, right, and the game starts to develop in their own half, in the half of our opponents, what else did we notice? We noticed that the midfielder does not stay in this position. The midfielder now at this point moves out of that position and then starts to participate in the play. So basically what Pioli wants, he wants pretty much all the team in the opposition half. He wants the whole team in the opposition's half. And the only two players left to defend are Kjaer and Tomori, and then he wants to use the intelligence and the tactical intelligence of the team to know when to cover, what to cover. And it also, what happened, guys? Look at how this tactic manipulated Sampdoria's game. If you guys realized, if you guys paid attention, Sampdoria started the game playing short ball from the back. But what happened after that second half? They completely changed that. Sampdoria completely changed that. They said, you know what, screw the short ball from the back because Milan is pressing like crazy. Their whole squad is in our own half, so let's just go long ball. If you notice, the second half of Sampdoria just went long ball. They stopped the short ball from the back. So this was also another instance of showing Milan's tactical dominance over Sampdoria, which is another great thing that we can compliment Pioli over. For his tactical display yesterday. Now, going back to Magnin and going back to how Pioli wants his team to, he wants both his fullbacks to attack. It actually worked perfectly because that's how we got our goal. We got our goal with Calabria. So imagine if he didn't sacrifice Calabria, right? If he didn't sacrifice Calabria, we wouldn't have scored that goal. But he did sacrifice. He didn't sacrifice Calabria. Rather, Pioli played with a lot more courage, and I think this is what he wants for the Champions League. I think this is what they're preparing, and this is what they prepared in the preseason. Both fullbacks attacking. So how did our goal arrive? Basically, you had Calabria in an advanced position. Going down the line, Magnin saw him. Magnin with a very, very long ball. Let's get this thing here. Come on. Okay. So how did that goal happen? Right. Our team was in a decent position. You had Calabria kind of in this area here. Magnin with a perfect ball all the way over there. Calabria puts the defender in pressure, puts him in a pressure situation, is able to win the ball. Then Calabria brings the ball down the line, and this is what we want to see from our fullbacks. As a coach, when both your fullbacks play literally from one line to the other, it's orgasmic. It means that your team is working. And when you get a goal out of that, it's even better. So what did you have? You had Giroud pushing the defenders here, and then you had Diaz making that run here. Calabria looks for the cross down on the ground. Diaz connects, and he takes a shot. In the middle of the goal, though, that shot was not a great shot by Diaz. Let's also be honest about that. The goalkeeper did a huge blunder because you would expect a first division goalkeeper to stop that goal. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That was our goal, and basically it was 3 plays. 1, 2, 3. 3 plays, we scored the goal. And it started from Magnan to Calabria. So this long ball from Magnan is something that we will see more often. My suspicion is, because of Magnan and the way he plays and what his tools are, we're going to see more long balls and less short game than last season. Okay, so that was Calabria and in his tactical function in the team. So I want to talk about Salamakers. Remember, so for me, Salamakers is the balance. Salamakers is a guy that you will see that covers this area very well. Also, Salamakers, I thought he had a pretty decent game yesterday. I remember him commenting on him and winning some very important balls in the middle of the park. When you have players that win balls in the middle of the park, that is very positive. That is quite good. So in that aspect, Salamakers did a really good job. Then there were moments where Salamakers was a little bit slow in passing the ball. I thought there were some moments where he should have passed the ball a little bit earlier. But overall, his play, and he's basically a support player. You know, he's basically a support player. Basically, let's say if Diaz has the ball, you know, he'll be here in that space. He'll receive a ball and he'll pass it back. He's not a player like many want for him to dribble, create opportunities. That's really not his job in the team. It's not his function in this team. And Pioli did suggest in his post-conference that he does think that Salamakers does need to improve that aspect of his game. And I do think they are trying to improve that aspect of his game. But it's not just us that think that he should be more creative. It is also the coach. Yesterday, the coach literally said that he thinks he needs to improve his decisive play. He said let's call it his functional play or his support play is top notch. This is what Pioli said. He said his support play is top notch, meaning he's going to go and help his teammates. He's always going to be an option for his teammates. And when he gets the ball, his decision-making is very good. He barely loses the ball. He always filters the ball either back into players into space or to other players into space, whether it's diagonal, whether it's side to side, whether it's backwards, or sometimes even forwards. But his decisive plays, basically those final passes, that final play, Pioli also yesterday in his post-conference acknowledged needs work. He acknowledged that needs work. So it's not something that we just think, but it is something that the coach thinks also. But anyway, Salamakers does a great job at creating that balance in that midfield. He helps the team. He helps the midfield. He helps everybody pretty much. Salamakers helps you would see Salamakers in these positions. You saw him pretty much all over that three-quarters position, always being an option, right? So in that aspect, Salamakers did a really good job. Let's look at Diaz next. So one thing that I noticed about Diaz yesterday is that there is a certain area that Diaz likes to cover. It kind of becomes a little bit predictable. And I think if I was an opposition coach, eventually I'd be able to read him and I'd be able to stop him. But Diaz does like to come back down in this area a lot to receive the ball and be a third option. So if I was an opposition coach, it'd be pretty easy to honestly to kind of like take Diaz out of the game. I'd have my midfielder just stick on him, and then in that case, Diaz would just be a player that kind of takes away an opposition, but he wouldn't be receiving the ball. But anyway, so we saw Diaz come into this position a lot and receive the ball in this position and then bring the ball forward. We saw him try sometimes he tried to take on players quite maybe when he didn't need to. He actually Pioli did say that Diaz sometimes is a little bit too overconfident, and he needs to. He didn't say he needs to do anything. He just said that well, it's fine, it's normal. If you're this kind of player, you probably should be overconfident. So we did see Diaz maybe take on players when he shouldn't. But one thing that I really liked about Diaz yesterday, that he got himself in these positions here where he received a lot of balls from Manin actually. Which he had space to turn and then create. And I like that. I like that. And this was just the first game, so I want to see more of that. And the fact that he comes back down and receives the ball tells me that the player is confident, that the player wants to take responsibility. So that is actually really good. Something that we want to see in a developing player. Remember, this is a developing player. He's got that number 10 shirt, and he doesn't care that he's got that number 10 shirt. He wants to be a number 10. We saw him be quite dangerous quite often. Maybe he could have taken more shots. Maybe sometimes when he got himself in this area, maybe I was thinking during those certain plays that instead of, let's say, passing it to Salamakers, who was often free on this side, he probably could have tried his curling shots into that corner. He did find Giroud from this position, and what a pass he did to Giroud. It was such an incredible pass he did to Giroud. Found Giroud over the defense. Giroud had got himself in a very good position. Giroud's control wasn't the best. Giroud did take a shot in goal, but it was saved. But already there, he could have gotten himself an assist. And then there was another play that Diaz had, which was really exceptional. And this time it was, I can't remember who, but it came from this side. Then Giroud, with one touch, found the Diaz here in this area. And then Diaz just too slow to take the shot. But Diaz got himself in a good position. And then you had the goal. So you had those three kind of moments that were very positive for Diaz. So overall, Diaz, I'm very happy with Diaz. I'm very happy with Diaz. He played. He filtered the ball. He played with Krunic. He played with Lau. He played with Tonali. He played with Salamakers. He looked for Calabria and the overlaps. He played with Theo, but most importantly, he tried to look for the target man, Giroud, and he did find them that one time. Giroud was in front of goal. Giroud was in front of goal, and he could have scored. So overall, I'm very happy with Theo's development. With Diaz's development so far. Well, since I mentioned Theo, let's talk about Theo. Theo operated in his usual capacity, which is a line-to-line fullback, an offensive fullback, and he tries to come the sport. Actually, there was one play where he went all the way down the line, and he had a cross for Giroud, a very angled cross, diagonal cross. Giroud did a diamond header. He did find the frame of the goal, I think, but the goalkeeper saved it. So that was a good play by Theo. Overall, Theo's performance very underwhelming according to what his standards usually are. My opinion on this is that, he just still needs to find that fitness, and he still needs to find that form. I do think that once Theo starts to get his fitness back, starts to get his match form back, he starts to... Also, I do think, this is my speculation, I think that PSG is heavily on Theo Hernandez, and I think this is kind of not allowing him to play at 100%, being focused on Milan. I think that Theo, those big bucks PSG are offering Theo, and Theo is, that opportunity to play with Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, Verratti, and everybody else is there in the back of his mind. I think that has a part to do with it. But I also think that he needs to get back into match fitness. He had a very long summer, not non-competitive summer. I do think that once he starts to make good plays, he starts to find his feet, find his measures, get an assist, get a goal, then Theo will become the Theo that we usually know. It's just it is quite actually it is quite common for players to take their time to get into maximum form. It is more uncommon to see players just be 100% from the get-go. But one thing that we can say in comparison to the other players, Theo is definitely behind, so he definitely needs to catch up. So overall, Theo did have a chance. Even he could have scored a goal. Actually, I remember Theo got himself in an area right here, and he took a shot, and he could have scored. Other moments, Theo had some compromising moments in this area here, where he lost a very, very, very dangerous ball in this area. And Sampdoria could have punished us, but thankfully, Magic Mike was there to save the day. But Theo had a very poor instance there, very poor moment, and thank God we did not score because Theo, the Milan fans. Thank God Sampdoria didn't score because the Milan fans would have put Theo's head on pike. So thank God. But overall, you have to say that Theo is definitely behind. He's definitely behind. So we've got to see how long it takes for him to get back into his usual match fitness. We all know what he's capable of doing. We know he's a clutch player. He can score important goals. I believe that by the time the Champions League comes through, after I think we'll start to see the Theo that we saw last season. Okay, Leao. Speaking of players that are ready to go, you have to really admit that Leao is ready to go. Leao looked really good, actually, in comparison to what he usually looks like. On the ball, very few mistakes. His dribbling was very good. He had some nice moments of doing those, what we call in training grounds, Ronaldo cuts, where you cut the ball with the back heel into space, creating space for yourself. He had a very good moment there. His cuts inside were very nice and precise. His timing in his cuts were very good. We did see instances of Leao being in this area, then literally a few seconds later, he was here defending. So definitely a positive game for Leao. His function in this 4-2-3-1 is just perfect the way it is. This is really good for him. Maybe even better for Leao. Maybe his best position would be in a 4-3-3, and right there as an attacking winger. I think that would be Leao's best position if the team was set up this way. In a 4-2-3-1. These players here are not wingers, really. They're more like attacking midfielders. So their job is they have more responsibilities when it comes to covering. So maybe he does suffer that a little bit. But overall, I was very happy with Leao. He had some moments, good moments. And I think out of all our players, he's one of the players that is maybe the readiest in this preseason. Why and why I think he's over Rebic, because I don't think Rebic is actually very similar to Theo when it comes to seasonal preparation. He definitely looks like he needs to get into the swing of things. Now, so very good for Leao. We spoke about Theo Hernandez. We spoke about Calabria. Calabria did really well. Manin. We have Tomori, Kjaer, Krunic, Tonali, and I guess Giroud left. So let's go to Krunic. Krunic played the box-to-box role. He looked very good. I thought excellent performance. To me, he was man of the match. Actually, to me, both Krunic and Tonali were the men of the match because I mean, I know. This is the thing that I've noticed yesterday as I was going through all of the different AC Milan channels, mostly the English channels, not the Italian channels. The Italian channels were much more generous to Krunic, but mostly the English channels were very harsh on Krunic. Very harsh on Krunic. I don't understand why. They were very stuck on that moment where he had that opportunity to score. And it seemed like this was the only moment they used to judge Krunic's performance yesterday. But I don't think that was what defined his game yesterday, actually. That was a poor moment of his that he could have, should have scored. But overall, Krunic, his work rate was absolutely incredible. So you would have to say that out of all the players, Krunic physical match fitness form is much more advanced than most of our players. And same thing can be said about Tonali. Krunic, I remember at the 85th, 87th minute commentating that game and seeing Krunic run like a madman, put in pressure on those Sampdoria players with the ball in this area. These midfield performances define a game. Remember, we were only winning 1-0. You know, if your midfield isn't doing the work in a 1-0 game and not making it difficult for your opponents, you know, they are going to score on us. They are going to score on us. The midfield yesterday was their work rate. Okay, fine. You know, obviously a fit Kessie and a fit Benacer would play better football, right? We would hold the ball better. But you cannot discuss the work rate. Work rate wins you games. If you don't have the work rate, you don't win the game. You know, you do not win the game. Of course, you need work rate and quality. And luckily, yesterday we had both. And then I'll talk about the overall game in general. But big props for Krunic. He gets a lot of slack. And once again, I was looking at the Italian channels. A lot of Italian channels were saying a lot of positive things about Krunic. They liked what they saw. A lot of them were discussing whether he should have been man of the match. Most of the English channels just were shitting on the guy. We're just totally shitting on the guy. But I will break that. I'll be one of the English channels that will not do that. I thought yesterday he deserved high marks. And his function in the team was very good. You would see him in this area being kind of like Salamakers, a support player. He's a support player, meaning what does he do? He's not there to create. He's there to support the creators, right? So he's there to play the simple passes, to be in the right spot at the right time in function of the tactical purpose of the team. So he did that quite fairly well. And then I remember commenting on Krunic intercepting a lot of passes, meaning his positional play in a defensive posture was very good because he was covering the channels very tightly, and it was making it very difficult for Sampdoria to find clean passes, clean diagonal passes in the center. And Krunic had 3 or 4 or 5 interceptions that were very good. Also, Krunic had some very good moments of weaving the ball out of pressure when Sampdoria attacked us, and we won the ball in this area right here. He did have some decent moments of him weaving the ball out of pressure and using the other players. So yesterday's performance from Krunic was a very decisive performance, 90 minutes. Same thing can be said about Tonali. Exactly the same about Tonali. Overall, Tonali's performance was great. And again, the English channels, it's not the Italian channels, the English channels were more stuck on that mistake, on that pass he did to Salamakers, and tried to define his game just because of that one pass. It's like, that was just one play out of 90 minutes. I thought the Italian channels were much more generous to Tonali and looked at his overall performance. And again, I am going to stick with the Italian channels, and I'm going to look at the game that way. Overall, Tonali was did a much better performance than a lot of us expected. His interplay and his support play was very good. He was the one assigned to play that role where he comes deep in the midfield, and sorry, deep in the central defensive line, and then help the team move forward. This is basically how Pioli is seeing his tactics. You know, he had some, in the last minutes of the game, he had some very important decisive plays. And this is what we want to see from our central midfielders. He won, like Krunic, he got himself in some very good positions where he intercepted channels. Overall, Tonali's game was very good. So we can be happy about both Krunic and Tonali. These are our second lines. You know, we should be happy about our second lines are performing this way. And we, you know, once our first lines come into play, then, you know, everything positive, everything good. So based on that game, we can say that, you know, they got their job done. In my personal opinion, man of the match goes to one of these two, either Krunic or Tonali, and a lot of the Italian channels have that same analysis. All right, then let's go to Giroud. So Giroud's purpose in yesterday's game was just to be a pure target. You know, he'd come down, look for those long balls, try the layoffs. He tried the 1-2s with Leao. He did have that one moment where he had that nice 1-2 with Diaz, which maybe Diaz there kind of dirtied his play. Diaz should have taken a shot earlier. Leao, he tried to communicate with the ball with Leao, but not so successfully. I think it's difficult to play with Leao. I think it is difficult to play with Leao. I don't think it was Giroud. I think it's more Leao. That Leao is just a player that won't give you that perfect ball, but Leao does make things happen. Leao did give Giroud some opportunities. He actually did try to find Giroud in some opportunities where Leao crossed the ball really well, but Giroud wasn't able to connect because he was too far from the ball. And there again, maybe you can say Leao didn't give the best pass. But overall, Giroud, you know, he has to he's going to learn how to play in Serie A. He's going to figure it out, and eventually he's going to get the right service. He's a player that depends on service, so I'm sure we're going to get headers from him. We're going to get tapping goals. But this was his first experience in the Serie A, and overall, he helped the team with his work rate. You know, he did put his body on the line. One thing that was very positive about Giroud yesterday is that he got himself a lot of fouls in this area. Basically, these fouls that you get in this area are like if you were boxing. Let's say if you're boxing and you just those small jabs that get you points in the judge scoreboard. That's what it can be. That's the equivalent. So these are all tactical points that you're getting. There are moments in which you are kind of you're making the team breathe, then the team can restart from that position, from an advantage position in the opposition's half. So Giroud, you know, did concede a lot of fouls, which helped Milan from a tactical prospect. So that was a good thing about Giroud. I would say the most negative thing about Giroud is that that he needs to figure it out. He just needs to figure out Serie A. And again, as I said, Giroud needs service. He needs service. Okay, then comes Kjaer. I'll save tomorrow for last. Kjaer, you know, Kjaer did his job like he always does. He bossed that midfield. He did a good job. I don't recall any mistakes from Kjaer. I remember him intercepting some decent crosses on the ground here. Kjaer, one of Kjaer's best traits is putting himself in good positions when you cross the ball on the ground. So he was very good at that. Then obviously Kjaer is pretty much a deep line playmaker. Him, Tomori, Magnin, and Tonali were the ones that were used to create the space and time. So he did that. That aspect of the game was decent, was good. But aside from that, really not much to say about Kjaer. Hold on. Apart from that, really not much to say about Kjaer. His tactical purpose was done fairly well. And guys, and then I'm gonna finish soon. and then I'm going to finish it. Guys, I'm going to get to your comments in a second. Just I'm about to finish here, and then I'm going to get to your comments. Okay. Let me just get back to the tactical board. I'm almost done with the tactical solutions aspect. So yeah, Kjaer did his job, nothing more, nothing less, but he did it fairly well, and he was able to keep some of our dangerous plays, push him away. Standout performer of the defense had to be Tomori. Tomori's aerial ability is phenomenal. I mean, yesterday it was. You know, of course, some games he's going to be better, some games he's going to be worse. But yesterday, Tomori's positional play, especially in dealing in corners or dealing in crosses, was absolutely fantastic. Always in the right position, heading the ball away. And then Tomori, one of the great things about Tomori is his ability to literally come all the way up here. Now, as a coach, I am not a big fan of this, to be honest with you, because I don't like my defenders to go all the way up in the opposition's half. Now, of course, if you can do it well, and be effective at it, go for it. I know Koulibaly is similar to that. He does that fairly well. Tomori is another defender that does that. I'm not a big fan of that, because it leaves these kind of holes here in the back. And usually if I'm playing against a defender that does that, I will tell my players, hey, watch out, because this defender will come out all the way in the box, and I will tell my striker to be in that position. I will tell my midfielders or whoever gets the ball, look for that striker right away if we win the ball when their defender comes all the way up in our half. So I'm not a big fan of that, but he did it fairly well, and we like to see that as far as his aggression and work rate. He's got to watch out, though, because he could be punished in the future for that. So far, he hasn't been punished for that, but it could happen. His passing was, I mean, he's not required to do anything special, just like Kjaer. Just like most of he's a support player, right? And he's a filter player, meaning he just needs to filter the ball side to side. His job is to look for the easy pass, right? His job is not to look for the difficult passes. So overall, defensively, A+, and then kind of like Kjaer, the rest of his game, good, just good. He did the right thing. So Pioli, overall, I like this approach. I want to see this approach with the full team, and when the team gains its full match fitness. I think I want to see how effective it will be. Sampdoria, good team. Sampdoria is a good team. They have some dangerous players up top, especially Candreva, Gabbiadini, Quagliarella, Damsgaard. So we did a good job at keeping them at bay. Overall, I like the system of both our fullbacks playing line to line. Around the 85th minute, we saw that Pioli reverted to this, where Tonali was at that point, I believe Benacer had come in. Tonali was out. So Benacer was the tip of the diamond. Theo in possession. Theo and Krunic would move into this area, and basically Milan played with this three in the back. And then at that point, what Pioli did to finish off the game, he put in Romagnoli, where we saw a pure three in the back. Hold on. Get this. So Romagnoli came in for Calabria. Calabria, by the way, the captain. And when Romagnoli was the defender, Kjaer was in the middle. Romagnoli came to this spot. Tomori came over here. And actually in this spot, Tomori had a moment that wasn't that great. but it is what it is. It's fine. Then Theo was asked to play a little bit lower, so basically we kind of look like this. And here, Salamakers was substituted for Florenzi, and we finished the game looking like this. At that point, Leao was substituted for Rebic, and Diaz was substituted for who, guys? Remind me, please. Who was Diaz substituted for? Who was Diaz substituted for? I need you guys to remind me. Leao for Ibrahimo. Roy, please say. Guys, who was Diaz substituted for? Please remind me. I'm having a brain aneurysm right now. Diaz for Benacer. We had Rebic, Giroud. Who was the other player that came in, guys? Diaz was subbed for Rebic. So who was Leao subbed in for? Who was he subbed in for? Matt, I cannot remember. Why can I not remember? Krunic. Oh, no. Tonali stayed in the game till the end. Okay, yeah. And Krunic came. Krunic became the attacking midfielder in the beginning. When Calabria was the third defender, Krunic took Diaz's spot. But when we became when Romagnoli came in, we literally became a 5-3-2, and where Rebic played a little bit lower on this end, maybe let's call it a 5-3-1-1, and Tonali, Krunic, and Benacer. So this is how we finished the game yesterday to fend off Sampdoria. Romagnoli on the left, Karen middle, Tomori on the right, Florenzi the fifth on the right, Theo the fifth on the left, Tonali, Krunic, Benacer, the three in the middle. Rebic was that second striker. He pretty much became the second striker, and Giroud finished the game. So, and that's how Pioli, and these were Pioli's tactical solutions. So, overall, we can give Pioli a nice 7.5 yesterday. His tactics worked. The team's tactics works. And I agree with what Nathan just said here. Most big teams have their fullbacks playing line to line. We're just catching up, and the results will be positive for us. I agree with that. Most teams do play with two teams line to line. All right, guys. So that was Sampdoria Milan tactical solutions. That game now is in the bag. It's part of the past. On to Milan Cagliari. Let's see what you guys are saying over here. Let's go. It's not the same player from last season. Mentally, he looks like he's depressed or something. Theo. Well, yeah. When it comes to Theo, guys, I really believe it's just a matter of form, and I think also the transfer market. I think when you have these teams that are after you, especially a team like PSG that is after you, wants to give you big money, and you don't know if you're going to be in, you don't know if you're going to be out. It's hard to commit to your teams, to the team you're playing with, especially when the team that is after you is offering you 9 million and you're getting 2.5 million. These are life decisions. So right now, Theo is going to be in this kind of limbo, psychological limbo area. And then also his fitness is just not good. He needs to catch up with the rest of the players. Theo just for learning how to defend, nothing besides that. Maybe the money PSG is offering. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. Not only defending, he's much worse going forward now. Yeah, right now he does not look like he's in the right mental state. Theo with Rebic is better than Theo with. Yeah, and that is true. Theo with Rebic last season worked really well, but I also think that Rebic right now is in a similar state with Theo. But maybe not so much because he has many offers coming in for him, more so because he's just physically he's not there yet. He's definitely, Theo is behind, Rebic is behind. Everybody else looks like they're in a pretty decent spot. And he goes run away too easily and looks at the ref. Once Leo learns to pass back to Teo, things will click. Leo, he keeps you on your toes every time he gets the ball. I knew Leo would have a good game in the second minute when he came back to defend in the box. Yes, we did see that Leo come in all the way in the box. Cassie misses the shots all the time, and no one says shit. Oh, yeah, we're going back to the Krunic thing, yeah. Hi, Roy. I like to point something out to the fans. Right now, Krunic is the number 2 attacking midfielder. So if Brahim... Yeah, he is. That is true. Skinner has corrupted our brains with regret. I normally have something to type, but right now I don't. CVP hates Tonali. I don't even know who CVP is. And honestly, guys, I do not subscribe to this thing that we need to shit on our players. It's never been who I am. I love hearing your guys' opinions. That's why I have the Milan forum, and I don't fight your opinions. I have people come in here. If you want to shit on our players, do it all the time. And I'm going to be quiet. I'm just going to hear what you've got to say. But it's very difficult for me to shit on players. That's why I'm probably not going to participate in the post-match games, because I'd just be fighting. It'd be a shouting competition. And I know some of you guys like it when we get into these shouting competitions and we fight with each other, but I think it'd be nicer if people just have a nice, relaxed conversation. So it's better, but I don't participate in the post-match games because everybody's just so freaking negative all the time. I just can't deal with it. And now for Ibrahimo, Roy, please check your Twitter DMs and see the potential life. I mean, it's the potential life. Okay, let's see what Mr. Lucas. You have a goodie for me? Okay, yeah. We can go through that. We'll check it out. This is one of my favorite formations, actually, Lucas. We'll check it out. Leao for Ibrahimo. Okay. Most big teams have their fullback. Yeah, I agree with that. And I like that. Actually. I like that. Diaz was sub for it. Okay, this is when I was asking. Okay, I checked. Lucas, we're going to look at that in a second. But Roy, the problem with Giroud is he needs to learn how to check his runs. Italian defenders are too good to beat them in a header when you have no momentum. He needs to check. Yeah, he definitely needs to improve that aspect. It's different from the Premier League. And the Premier League is just a different kind of style of play. So in the Premier League, you have to. I'm guessing you have to be in the right spot at the right time, and you have to time your runs. You probably have more space in the Premier League because things in the Premier League are more like about momentum, right? It's more about forward momentum. While in the Serie A, it's more like calculated. It's more about space, time here and there. So he's got to figure it out. He definitely has to figure out. Giroud beat the offside trap twice. Have the scored. Dude, okay. The one thing I'm going to give a very low score is the refs, and especially the linesmen. Like, let the play go and then check if it was offside or not. We had there was a moment where Leao, I think, or I think it was Leao. He was open off onto goal, and the referee put that the linesman raised that flag. You look at the replay, he looks onside to me. Like, yo, we got the VAR. Let the play go. Let the play go. He was well onside. A great example is Dr. Herr against Inter. He wasn't on the back line. Well, hopefully he can learn from Zlatan. Hopefully he can learn. All right, guys. So let's look at this thing that. I can see this. I can see this. I definitely can see this. So this is what Lucas DM'd to me. I definitely can see this solution. I definitely can see it. So let me just look at it one more time. But who did this? Who did this, Lucas? Who wrote this, Lucas? Who put this together? whoever put this together is not very aware of how Milan plays, though. But it is an interesting solution. Milan Scout on YouTube. Well, he should know better. He definitely should know better. The reason why I say he should know better is because Kessie plays on the left, Benacer is on the right, and Kjaer is the middle, and Tomori is on the right. But we played like that last night. We played like this last night? We played like this last night? I don't think we played like this last night. No, we didn't. Who said we played like this last night? I did not see this formation last night at all. What I saw last night was this. But yeah, a 3-4-1-2. Why not? You know, basically what you can do is in a 3-4-1-2 with these players is if needed, you can bring Calabria down and basically have you know, this kind of thing here, where this becomes a diamond. Well, actually, the diamond would be like this. Actually, no, that would not work as a diamond. Hmm. I don't know. In the 80th minute, Krunic was in Media's position, Rebic for Ibra, so as Florenzi as for Calabria. Yes, but Calabria was playing more as a wing back rather than a midfielder winger. When that happened, when Florenzi came in, he was more a wing back. So it was more It was more a 5-3-2 than a 3-4-1-2. A 3-4-1-2. These two players here. In a 3-4-1-2, these two players are both on the line of the midfield. They're not players that will come down here I mean, they will go down there if the defensive posture needs it to go down there. So whoever told you that, don't listen to him. Don't listen to it. Anyway, guys, so I think that's great for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We are going to have a Milan forum on Friday. So everybody that wants to come and save your piece, come and join us at the Milan forum. I don't think we're going to have any lives up until... Oh, yeah, we're going to have a live on Thursday to see the Champions League draw and talk a little bit about the Champions League. I'm assuming the Milan forum will be a lot of Champions League talk. Guys, so there you go. Tactical solutions. This is a live that I will do every day after the game, where I'll go over the tactical approach of the team and exactly what they've done. And we can play with different formations. Guys, everybody be happy. We have Pellegrini, our youngster, Bakayoko coming in soon. Florenzi needs time. Yesterday, Florenzi looked lost most of the time, to be honest with you. When I saw Florenzi, he just looked like he was a deer in headlights. But it's going to take a while before Florenzi. As I said, guys, I predicted in a few months, Florenzi is pretty much going to take Salamaker's spot if we don't get a right winger. Roy, that's an assumption that they wouldn't go back. I don't care who Cagliari put out. I just want us to crush him. That's 0-0 draw there. Yeah, I don't think we're going to play this way against Cagliari. Like, I really don't think we're going to play that against Cagliari. Also because usually you don't change a win information. You just keep on going with your win information. Yeah, he needs more games, and he'll get them. I think against Cagliari, we'll probably see. Maybe the only difference that we're going to see against Cagliari is whether it's going to be Tonali Benacer or Benacer Krunic. At this point, Krunic has a case to be one of the starters from what we saw the other day. So it's either going to be Benacer Tonali or Tonali Krunic, or it could be still Tonali Krunic. Maybe we're going to see Rebic versus Leao. I think the defense is going to be exactly the same. I think Diaz is going to be there. I think Giroud is going to be there. And I think that Salamakers is going to be there. So the formation that I am expecting against Cagliari is most likely going to be Diaz, Tonali, Benacer, Salamakers, Leao. I don't think we're going to see Florenzi starting for a few months. Bakayoko will be in by then. Yeah, I thought Tonali was great as well, and damn, he's fast with the ball at his feet too. My memory he will take minutes to spot. It could be, he definitely could. So I guess it's going to be either Leao Rebic here, or Krunic for one of these players here. Maybe Romagnoli for one of these players here, maybe. I don't think Bakayoko is going to be a starter just yet. Theo's going to have a spot. Diaz, so yeah. Most likely it's going to be this. Well, most likely this is what we're going to see against Cagliari. All right, guys, listen, thank you very much. Love you all with all the depth of my heart, and I'm looking forward to you guys joining us for the next live. Thank you very much. Not the same starting 11, but the same formation. Do you think Tonali would have scored his first goal if Leao didn't block his shot? Maybe. Tonali deserved to score a goal. Maybe. I remember that play, yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Thursday for the match, for the watch-along for the Champions League draw, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on Friday for the Milan Forum. And, of course, I am looking forward to seeing you on Saturday for the game against Cagliari. Sunday, we have Saturday, we're going to have the watch. I don't think I'm going to do the watch-along. I think Ari is going to do the watch-along. And Saturday, we're going to have the post game afterwards, the review. Guys, by the way, Ari did put out a review, so go out there and send your love to Ari. And we are going to, the next day, I think we're going to have Red and Black Sundays. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to do. I'm going to do a tactical solutions video on Sunday. Guys, everybody, thank you very much. Love you all. As always, forza, forza, unici rossoneri, forza Milan. Ciao.